Hey, Rick Robinson here, and we are with Burke Allen, trying to figure out where the lens is on that camera. You would think with all the years he had in publicity, he would know where the camera was.
Rick, is that you?
Yes,
Are you in
is.
there?
It is. They have these newfangled cameras in phones, Burke. Hey, we are here today at the American Library Association in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
And What's happening, brother?
And I'm here with the brother that I love, my friend Burke Allen.
My brother from another mother.
Burke Allen has forgotten more about publicity and
I'm sorry,
music
why am I here?
Well, that's right.
I
forgot. But you've forgotten more than most people know about publicity and becoming famous. Got a new book out, actually, Becoming Semi-Famous.
This is a micro book as it moves from left to right on your radio dial. It's a micro book because I only know so many words.
You can tell you're an old DJ when you talk about and now moving from left to right on the radio dial.
Yeah,
what do you call it?
Anyone under 40 has no idea what I'm talking about. No, so look, I love doing this because there are authors everywhere. This is like a big author vomit. They've just all vomited out into Philadelphia this weekend. And there are authors here, there are illustrators, there are agents, publishers, there are librarians, and those are the ones we really got to watch out for. The librarians.
Got to watch out for them.
They party hard. But I wanted to be here to talk to these authors about how to get people to read your book. Because at the end of the day, you're an author. That's the toughest part, right? It's not the writing of the book. It's how to get an audience for it.
That's right. You have to have a hook somewhere to get onto radio, a podcast, whatever it is that you're doing. You have to have a hook somewhere. So tell me okay, I've just done my first book, let's say, and I'm walking in with my first book and go, hi, Mr. Allen. I just wrote a book. Whoa, can you help me?
I get those calls all the time, and it really is about trying to figure it out.
And half of them are from me,
well,
trying to disguise myself as somebody new to give free advice.
Mr. Allen, Rick Robinson's on line one. I'll call him back. No, it is. You have to have a hook, right? You got to reel them in somehow. What is it that sets your book apart from all the rest? What makes it unique and compelling? And when you see all that's happening around us at the American Library Association conference, it's tough. I read somewhere, and our friends at Headline Books will probably be able to tell you for sure, that there are 1,200 books a day that are released. That's crazy competition. So you have to have something that sets you apart from everybody else.
That is something you taught me very early when we started working together. We met, 20 years ago?
Yeah,
pretty close?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And actually, my new book, 1968, is partially inspired by the way I titled it, and everything else is inspired by you, because I knew that would be a hook that an old radio guy would love to hear. And we go, oh, I remember 68. And I've been able to get on a lot of shows because of that.
No, that's exactly
so
right.
As you're writing something, what do you think about how do you go out and get the earned media?
So when we talk about earned media, so that really is a true term, right? You earn your way onto TV shows, as you mentioned, or radio, and lots of times we tease about radio. I'm an old radio guy, but radio really is this now. It's on your cell phone. Any audio medium, including podcast, right? Or it might be a magazine article or a blog, any kind of thing that you earn your way into because you are the subject matter expert about whatever you've written the book about. And you might be watching now and say, well, I wrote a fiction novel about an art heist, for example. Well, that had to be inspired by some story about some art heist that really happened. So you can be an art expert. You can be a mob expert, right? It's the research you put into building that novel out that gives you an opportunity to get in there. And you then have to sort of consume what's going on in the world around you. Pay attention to the news. What's the big story today, and how can you weigh in on it? I talked to a lady earlier today here who is an expert on getting kids to comprehend reading comprehension. And there's a million opportunities for free media exposure about that. So think about what you know about and what your research that went into your book is about, and that could be your niche.
So talking about niche with this new book.
Yeah.
When you go out there and look, there it is. Hold it up in front of your face. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's over your shoulder as well, right next to that book, 1968,
by Rick Robinson.
by that good-looking podcaster, Rick Robinson.
The award-winning
Rick Robinson. Hey, So, okay, I start going out of this thing. How do I prepare for an interview? How do I get ready? So I've gotten a hook.
Yep.
I've called the local radio station. I've talked to the guy. They do a book every Friday.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to be the book next Friday. Holy cow, what do I do now?
And now what?
What questions do I ask? How long do I have? What the heck is going to happen now?
So, and I'm glad you asked that, because I will tell you this, and this is something that most people don't know. If you're not prepared for your interview, if you blow it, it's worse for you to blow it than to not do the interview at all. And that's in all of your public-facing stuff. If you have a horrible website, if your social media presence is really bad and it's not congruent with your book, if you go in and blow that interview, you're better off to not do it at all. So how do you do it right? Preparation is key. The great thing about today's world is, you mentioned, I think, a radio interview. Almost every radio show in America streams online now. So do your homework ahead of time. Listen to that host. I'll give you an extreme example if I can. I had a client years ago that we scored an interview on the Howard Stern show, and he was ecstatic. And I said, have you ever listened to the Howard Stern show? You need to know what you're getting into here, right? You need to know that there will be a stripper pole and midgets in that studio when you get there. Know what you're getting into. So do your homework ahead of time. Listen to that show. How long do they go? Do they have a political lean to the left or to the right? Are they fast talkers? Is it a slow conversation? How long are the interview segments? So know what you're getting into before you get there.
I think one of the things you said is key when you go on. How long is the segment?
Oh, yeah. It's huge.
Are we going to do one segment or two segments? You're going to have me on for the hour? You're going to have me on for one segment that's 12 minutes? What are we doing here?
Yeah. Is there a hard stop for a newscast at the bottom of the hour, the top of the hour? You don't want to get wind up talking about your book and then, bam, you're out in the middle of a story.
I think the other thing that's important when you're going on, this should be a conversation, right?
That's right. It's got to be a back and forth thing. So I work with a lot of professional speakers who are used to pontificating and doing the big talk.
For an hour presentation, the keynote, right?
And it ain't that. It's a conversation back and forth between you and the interviewer. And yes, I always ask our folks to prepare a list of questions and give it to the interviewer, because lots of interviewers, they may do 20, 25, 30, 35 interviews in a week. They're not going to have time to read your book. I hate to break that to you. They're not going to have time to read your book. So if you give them those
the last one of
questions-
those, our friend Mike McConnell just retired last week. He was Mike actually wouldn't let you on until he read the book. I don't know if you know, Mike just retired though.
I did not know that, and what a great interviewer too.
Yeah, but probably the best I think I've ever been.
And very few of them. They're the exception to the rule.
Yeah,
and
they
you'll
really
love
are.
that whenever they do. But know that lots of times they won't have time to read your book, so give them some good sample questions that are what the viewer or the listener might want to know. That helps tee it up. And know that doesn't mean they're gonna just.
Should I not
ask
step on their answer?
What? I don't stop.
Should I step on when they say something?
That's exactly right.
It's important that you don't step on them, right?
Eye contact, or being a good listener, knowing what to anticipate when those pauses are going to come in the conversation.
You know, one thing I like to do, Burke, is that if it's a local station, I will offer to go to the studio.
That's always better.
Because there's nothing, the sound coming off your phone as advanced as these things are, nothing beats being in the studio with a microphone. You also end up with a pretty good picture to put on your Facebook page.
Yeah, your social media is better, the audio quality is better. You build a relationship with that interviewer, they'll have you back. The next time they're talking about whatever your subject area of expertise is, they're going to remember you and have you back. So yeah, I always advocate if you can't go in studio.
You could give one tip to an author, first book, they're trying to figure out what would be the one tip you would give.
Watch others. Watch others that are successful, that do it right, and take pieces of how they do what they do and incorporate it into what you do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. This is not brain surgery. Nobody dies on the book publicity operating table, but just look at what other people do and get that advice. And look, you can also grab Becoming Semi-Famous. I think it's $3, and everything is in right there.
And where can I find this wonderful book, Becoming Semi-Famous, from the always famous, fully famous, nothing but famous Burke Allen?
Fully clothed Burke Allen. Thank goodness we're on camera. BecomingSemiFamous.com is the place to go. check it out at headlinebooks.com, amazon.com. It's there, and this is my give back to the publishing industry and to authors. I really want to see you get lots of readers, so I put it all out there. Everything we do, it's all you need. $3.
And by the way, he does represent several authors, including the great Homer Hickam.
That's right. New York Times #1 best-selling author Homer Hickam, and a whole bunch more, and been doing it for years. We love authors. We want to help you succeed.
Burke, it is great to be with you. I think we're about done here at the American Library Association for the conference for the day. I hear there's a place where we can find alcohol across the street. It's just a rumor, but I think we're going to go look for that now.
There is a cheesesteak, a Philly cheesesteak in my future, sir.
There we go. There we go. Rick Robinson, Burke Allen, American Library Association, Philadelphia 2025. Thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you.